Yep.
Okay. Everybody be quiet and I shall give the countdown.
The thing is, you and Risa got a page. I've got a great one called the Peanut Gallery.
Have you been under the house drinking beers again?
My logo, Keegs' logo, and then like a peanut.
I wonder if there is a picture of a gallery of peanuts.
Under the house.
Yes.
Under the house.
What do you think that he's having beer bottles under his house?
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Keegz, and welcome to podcast number 27 on the 14th of September that we're in, September 2015. I'm joined tonight with, once again, Xenon.
Hello, internets.
And our peanut gallery tonight is Peter and Ripple. Fotis and Ripple.
You use my proper name.
G'day.
I'm sorry. Tonight we shall be covering, sex, politics, and paradise, apparently.
It was going to be a Sex the Late Show
I
in
like those
Paradise, but I like the politics better.
Well, we can change it up because that way, we can enthrall the viewers even more of what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Do sex and politics really go together? I don't think they do.
Yes.
Ask
I
Bill
think
Clinton.
they do.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say. There's a
The last thing I
Lewinsky
wanna
joke there
see-
somewhere.
The last thing I want to see is sex in Australian politics. Thanks very much.
Ugh.
Too
Too
many
many
old,
onions.
too many old wrinkly men.
So yeah, what are we starting with then, Xenon?
Okay, well, we shall start with the headlines. Top headline is Gaming
Ooh.
Paradise turns into a horrible disaster. Why don't you tell us all about it, Keegs?
Oh yes, the CS:GO event that went horribly wrong.
Well, it
for
wasn't
everybody.
just CS:GO, was
Was
it?
this the Albanian one?
It was.
Oh, it was
in-
Dota as well.
Yeah, it was that and Dota, but it was
Was it in
in.
Albania?
No, it wasn't in Albania.
Yeah, Slovenia or something.
It wasn't
Some
Slovenia.
far off,
in a country that you
some
wouldn't
far
expect.
off Russian Ukrainian town.
Why do you always piss off the Ukrainians? I think we had this issue
Well-
last time.
I don't mean to. They just obviously they can't host an event properly.
Do we have a lot of?
Probably not even them, but
Do we piss off Ukrainians a lot? Am I not aware of this?
I
Possibly.
vaguely recall it happening last time.
probably who knows. We piss off a lot of people, I'm sure.
Sorry, everybody. from
Slovenia.
Ukraine.
Outspoken
Where it
antics.
was.
Slovenia. There you go.
Oh, there you go. I was searching through. I
Um,
couldn't fucking find where it had come from. So
So they hosted an event, which wasn't a huge event, but I think it was
Oh.
like
But what is
Yeah.
Gaming Paradise? What is it?
it's just the name of the event. It's just called Gaming Paradise.
Gaming
They-
Paradise.
It's just a Counter-Strike event.
Gaming Paradise.
I
I think
realise what it
Counter-Strike
is,
and
but
Dota.
who are these people?
it's a company.
It was
uh,
privately funded.
Yeah, but I can't remember.
Crowdsourced.
So they're not from like a magazine or from a
No, it was just privately funded and then
bunch of
crowdsourced
dudes.
as well.
A bunch of dudes in Slovenia went, let's get a bunch of money together and give it all to foreigners.
Yeah, basically, let's host an event and we'll bring. Well, we can't talk. We're having an Australian one. we
I'm not.
yeah. But, so they brought all these teams. I think it was the Virtus Pro. Well, for CS:GO anyway. I didn't really look into the Dota scene. I don't watch Dota that much. But I know that Virtus Pro and Titan went, and I think two of the people out of Titan ended up in hospital. Nobody got paid. They had their passports taken away because they couldn't pay for the hotel room. And the computers showed up and they didn't have any graphics cards.
Well, no. What happened was on the morning the computers were supposed to be installed. I don't know why you'd leave it to the morning of the day that you're going to do it, but shit happens. Yeah, they turned up and then half of them had no graphics cards, and they're like, "We're going to need to get some graphics cards,
Yeah,
guys."
I saw an AMA and it was one of the guys from the tech crew who was supposed to set it all up. And apparently two people called in sick or something. And they told one person was meant to go and get the monitors, the 144 monitors, and the other person was meant to go and pick up the graphics cards or something like that. And the person that was meant to pick up the graphics cards didn't show. So,
He stole
so
all
they
the
end up
graphics
getting the
cards.
monitors. Yeah, end up getting the monitors, and then halfway through the event, like I think they'd only played a couple of games forcefully, and they were told there's no money anymore.
Yeah, so it sounds like a bit of a
So it was
bit of a clusterfuck all round. Because
right.
It's a bad time all round.
yeah, I mean the
So did
company.
they just not do it very well?
I don't know. I'd like to be honest. It sounds
Obviously not.
I-
horribly mismanaged. Even there's a
Yeah.
company called Gaming.rs, which actually might just be a website. They were the ones that actually sponsored the event or paid for the event essentially. His CEO sort of said, "Oh, I'm thinking of stepping down because I obviously didn't do a very good job here."
Yeah, funnily enough.
Well, they actually
But,
stepped in the end and paid for the resorts and rooms and stuff, so that all of these guys could actually get their passports back.
Yeah, and actually said, well,
Yeah,
I actually
well,
said to the police, they said, well, they're not, the people who are in the rooms aren't responsible for paying for the rooms. It's in our name. We're supposed to pay for it. And then they got all their passports back.
Yeah, from what I read, it was actually a problem with it had been paid for, but the hotel fucked up or something, and they had actually paid for the rooms. They just didn't want to talk
Yeah, it sounds a
to
bit
anybody about it.
dodgy.
But I think the worst part that came out of it for the teams anyway was that there was a big international tournament in Dubai like a week later, so they were getting like held back. They couldn't train. They couldn't do anything like this because Titan and Virtus Pro were both playing in this big Dubai tournament.
They could
which,
train on 144 megahertz, 144 hertz monitors. They just didn't have any graphics cards.
with no graphics cards, playing at like
Onboard
80
graphics,
FPS. Yeah. But and then they got stuck. And ESL sort of went out and said, "Look, we're going to help them make sure they get to this tournament and sort of help them along a bit." But which in the end, spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched the Dubai tournament, Virtus Pro went through and ended up winning. So good for them, even after all this horrible time
I
they
wonder
had.
if there's a
in
bunch of people
wherever they were.
scrabbling for their volume knobs or hitting the pause button on the podcast because they don't want to know.
Yeah, they need to be quick.
Well, it gave
If
spoilers.
you don't know, then you've been living under a rock because it's been like a week.
Only a week ago.
Yeah. It was 2 weeks ago that this happened, and then it was like that
Right.
weekend is when they went to Dubai.
Right.
So it was a bit of a clusterfuck
But
all
yes.
round.
So
I
we're
think.
not doing up to the minute news then.
Well, we only have a podcast
Well,
every
no,
2
'cause
weeks.
We do bi-weekly podcasts. Come on.
It's like
I mean,
the only reason we're doing bi-weekly podcasts is there's not enough news for a weekly podcast.
that's right. We could jump on like last week and then talk about this for 10 minutes. Like, all right, that was a good podcast. Everybody. See you later.
Hey, I do like a short podcast.
That's all well and good, but I don't like doing all the pre-roll stuff for the podcast to do a 10-minute podcast
Yeah.
We'll have this argument now where everybody can hear.
where everybody can hear
So
on the
make me
internet.
turn this podcast around.
on the internet forevermore.
But yes, anyway, they had a shit
That's called
time.
uploading.
Everybody had a terrible time.
Mm.
I'm just
So,
looking at
yeah.
their website. It's not great.
Yeah.
It's got a. I probably shouldn't say. It's got a thing there. It says we're working on some awesome.
We're working on some awesome. It's nice.
We have not yet
I
achieved
do
awesome,
like
but
it
we are
when
working
you're
on it.
awesome.
We're going.
Everything needs more awesome.
Yeah,
More.
one
I'm
day
sure
it
they-
will be dripping
they
with
were-
awesome.
They already tried to be awesome and it failed miserably for them.
Yes, it didn't work
does
for
really
them.
tried to say
percentage
false.
saying 40%. So.
Yes. But then I heard people also complaining about the Dubai one for the people who were there anyway. There's something about you had to buy certain tickets and the times that the actual event was open was actually after they were playing the sort of pre-game, so you missed most of the games. And some of them were outside and it's like fucking 90 degrees in Dubai.
You have to
But
be
you can see
dedicated.
them all on stage. You can see them all on stage just pissing with sweat.
They have air conditioning in Dubai. What the fuck?
Well, it was for some reason they decided to host it outdoors.
What? When did this happen?
I know.
They were having the tournament outdoors.
Yeah.
Do they
But
not
like, because
understand how computers work?
yeah,
If you get
yeah.
them hot, they stop working, right?
They had like the big ones like late in the evening, so it was dark, but it was still Dubai. I mean,
Yeah.
still a
Yeah, here it's
fucking
hot there.
desert.
Well, sounds like a clusterfuck
Yes,
all round.
anyway.
Moving on. Jimmy
Although
Kimmel.
in the desert, it gets
terrible
cold very
times.
quickly at night.
Yeah. So Jimmy Kimmel pisses off our toxic community. Well, it's not hard to do, but yeah, he did it.
We
You
did
did
so.
it pretty well.
I watched the.
We could do that just by making jokes about Ukrainians.
That's right.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
right.
the Ukrainians are a toxic community.
I'm sure they're lovely.
They're a
No,
lovely
the,
bunch
the
of people.
internet is a toxic
Oh,
community.
right.
I think to them the Russians are toxic.
What did I say about not making the jokes?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. It's the politics I know nothing about. I should keep quiet.
That's right. Isn't it?
Yeah. So if anybody watched those few videos that Jimmy Kimmel made, he pissed off a lot of people, which was kind of not right. They probably shouldn't have been upset because yes, he's a comedian. And I watched the second video first, which was him replying to the comments because that was when it first came to my attention. And I'm like, wow, he must have really done something quite horrible. And then I watched his actual video, which was just like a spoof on gaming, basically watching other people game, which people like South Park have already done. And I watched the video. I'm like, yeah, it wasn't really funny, but it wasn't. I wouldn't be offended by it. It was a comedic sketch.
I mean, it was sort of like it was done in, I guess, poor taste. But I mean, I guess that's sort of his bag. I mean, not that he not that he does stuff in poor taste, but yes, he's a comedian. He took it. He ran with the joke that the internet's toxic community really doesn't tend to, they don't like that sort of thing. So
You're offending our views on what we do.
Which
Yes.
is funny because they seem to like everything else, regardless of how horrible it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it seemed silly because I watched the video and like, yes, I can understand that these people who are not in this generation or just don't get it, I understand that people watching other people play games is entertaining. But some of the comments he made about it were just like that he didn't get it, which is fair enough. He obviously don't get it. I don't get watching football because I don't like football and I don't understand watching it. Well, not I understand watching it, but I don't see the point. But then he's in the same boat where, he's watching people play games, doesn't get the point. It's one or the other. You sort of enjoy different things and get entertained by different things.
Well, the bit that somebody actually brought that up because he did the answering the Twitter messages and making funny jokes about it, and somebody actually brought that up because that was the first thing I thought. I was like, well, you watch people play sports. Why is it weird for me to watch people play sports? And he brought up the point of it's not like watching people play sports. It's like watching people play virtual sports. And I went, well, that's not quite correct either. But I understand why you made the joke because you're a comedian. Ha ha ha. So. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really give a fuck.
And I think that's what people got offended about. I think people got more offended that he didn't get it. It's just ignorance that he didn't understand.
It kind of was.
Because,
He kind of just
nearly
displayed
everybody.
Ignorance on the internet?
But like everybody made the comment about, oh, well, you watch people play sport. And it's the same thing that we want to watch people who are skilled at a certain thing do really well at it, and we get entertained by that. Same reason you watch sports, and which is fair enough. But I can understand that. He's obviously not in that world, and we're not in his world.
He also made
some people might be in both. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, but he made the point that he didn't see the point of watching other people watch them play games. So. Like Markiplier, where he has the face cam, where he's watching, he's playing through something and they're watching his reactions. That was the bit that he couldn't understand, and I think that's why he made the obviously PewDiePie point where he's very big on reactions to scary games and stuff like that. So he said he couldn't see the point of watching someone play a game as opposed to actually just watching the game that they're playing.
My rebuttal to that, not that this is all over anyway, but I find it funny that he said that when I just watched one of his videos today where they were giving people the original iPhone and telling them it was the iPhone 6S and recording their reactions to that.
Right.
And obviously that's entertainment.
Right.
You want to see somebody react to. Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying that he doesn't get when that's part of his medium with a lot of the jokes he does. So.
I don't think he draws the parallels between it. I mean, maybe he does, but I suspect he probably doesn't draw the parallel between them. So, but the bit that sort of annoyed me was that he did his funny sketch bit where there was an actual like pre-recorded skit where they were sort of like, oh, watching someone play a game, watching someone play a game, and then it sort of went through the Inception idea. And that was fine. He copped a lot of flack over it, and then he did another video, which basically just kept on attacking, where he attacked the Twitter people on Twitter who had posted stuff on, and then he posted another video doing much the same thing. And then he realised that this was an unwinnable argument, and he basically needed to backpedal, and that's when he got Markiplier. And who was the lady that he got on with his on to play games with? I can't remember her name. I watched the video of it, but I don't remember.
I actually never seen her before then.
I hadn't seen her before either, but I'm presuming she's a
famous... I had never met her before.
Oh, really? I sort of wonder why he got her. I mean, I obviously got Markiplier on because he's probably number 2 behind PewDiePie, and he already offended PewDiePie. Plus, I think he lives in a different country, maybe.
I think it was more about location, who they could get the quickest.
Yeah.
Who had a big following.
Yeah, and someone who's actually might be...
because Mark lives in LA, so...
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, also someone who might be slightly sympathetic to him, and obviously probably paid him a lot of money to do so. Yeah, so it was kind of surprising to have him take... it was 3 nights in a row where he basically just railed on people from the internet, and then he did the backpedaling and going, oh, I'm going to play with someone and see what this is all about, type of thing, where they're all friends at the end.
Yeah. Which was pointless.
It kind of was. It kind of smacked of, oh, yeah, I've realised I fucked up. I'm going to act like I'm on your side. Ha ha ha. It's all been a funny joke. And it's like you can't really do that when you've insulted so many people.
Yeah, it's a bit late after that. I mean, because that's the bit that I didn't like. I was fine with the joke. It was all in good taste. I mean, the people reacting to it is typical internet backlash, which, you attack something that people care about so much, then yes, they're going to get angry. Like, I got angry at it when I first watched the comments, mostly because he was nitpicking comments, even though in saying that 80% of them were toxic, which is how the internet works. If you don't understand that, that's just how the internet fucking works. Mm-hmm. But I found it really annoying that, yes, he just continued to push the bad comments for more publicity, basically.
Yep.
To the point where it got out of hand, because I mean, he does the read mean tweets thing. All the late night shows do that because it's kind of funny watching people react to mean tweets. So he's basically doing, I'm going to read all the mean comments I've got, and because the internet is extremely vulgar and everything usually results to, I hope you get cancer, which is in normal terms is extremely. I mean, it's horrible anyway, but it's kind of just. It's the internet. Like, this happens, you just got to brush it off and pretend it's nothing. Because when you're on a keyboard, if you're really upset about something, a general insult saying, look, I don't believe in your views, blah, 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 doesn't hold enough merit compared to, fuck you, get cancer, which actually affects somebody.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is like,
and that's the bad part about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you construct a logical argument whereby you repute, all the things that someone has said, that they came back with, well, you're a dickhead and fuck off. I hope you get cancer. It's sort of like, well, I don't feel like I've won the argument. It's just, you've thrown it back in my face.
So, some YouTubers that I've watched, and they've all said the same thing about the comments situation, is that you can get millions and millions of really nice supportive comments, but those bad comments are the ones that really stick, because you notice them more, even if they're less, even if the ratio is like 1 to 10.
Yep.
As soon as you see a horrible comment, that just sort of like
it hits you a lot more than all the good
mind.
Comments.
Yeah.
It's almost a case of 50 good comments to 1 bad comment is the ratio of how good you feel compared to 1 bad comment. In fact, I had it wasn't even a bad comment on my YouTube channel. It was a video that I posted recently, and someone just all they posted was, this video wasn't particularly interesting until right to the end. And I was like, you know what, you're right. It wasn't very interesting until right to the end. It was a pretty bland video. And I pretty much said that. I said, yeah, it was a pretty boring video, but I kind of had to make something. So that's what happened.
Wow, what a dick. You should have torn the comment down and deleted your account.
Ban that motherfucker.
Just wipe yourself off the internet. Yeah, fuck it. I'm not doing it anymore because one person said something mean about me.
Fuck this shit.
Yeah. I think it's just, you got to deal with it. The internet's full of people who sort of will up the ante and hate because that's the only way they get noticed.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem.
Internet.
It's like one thing that somebody, I think it was a guy on Tested, said, ever since the beginning of YouTube, everything above the comments is like over the last 10 years, everything above the comments is better, is higher quality, is in general is better. Everything below the comments is worse.
Yeah. But something you have to deal with being on the internet, I guess. But anyway, I guess in the end, Jimmy Kimmel, he had all the right in the world to do what he did. I mean, the internet acted ridiculously. I think he should have just not.
I reckon he should have dropped it.
He should have just shut the fuck up. And
after the first video, just even just said an apology. I say, yeah, sorry, I maybe took that a little bit too far. Even if you don't think he doesn't think he did, you should have just said that, and then it would have all gone away. Instead, I mean, I guess maybe it's better for him that he just kept on milking it because he gets more views.
I was going to say if you look at his videos, and those 4 or 5 videos all have like 10 times more views than any of the others.
Have you seen the ratio of thumbs up to thumbs down though?
Oh yeah. But, to be honest, that for who he is and what his channel is, that probably doesn't really matter. I mean, if you're gonna watch Jimmy Kimmel on YouTube, you're gonna look for Jimmy Kimmel. You're not just gonna stumble across him.
Yeah. What can you do? Sorry, my girlfriend's watching Netflix and causing me internet issues because I have Australian internet, motherfucker.
Get off the internet.
Get off the fucking internet.
Well,
do you guys have anything to add, Peanut Gallery?
Well, Farnard makes a good point that Kimmel is from a generation that thinks gaming is still for nerds, and I think that is the crux of the argument in the end.
Agreed.
I think it's a bit silly that I'm okay that he doesn't get it, but he just doesn't accept it.
We did accept
I'd
it in
be
the
okay
end,
if he just said,
yeah,
I know it's a thing. I don't get it, but I'd accept it.
I don't know. I watched that video and it was a bit through grated teeth.
That he doesn't accept it.
I raise your acceptance and add acceptance.
There's acceptance inception going on.
I don't get Jimmy Kimmel at all. I don't watch it.
Well, to be honest, I don't watch it either.
I don't get people that watch it. They're weird.
I watch occasionally. I watch his YouTube videos occasionally.
I have watched, occasionally when he does the funny monologue, but yeah, it's few and far between when I watch Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Fallon's better. Just saying.
He's actually better. I think he's a lot better.
Not really. I mean, I just don't like late night shows anymore. They're just like
I don't really either.
Generation. And I think that's half. I think that's half the problem is that they are an older generation. They're sort of trying to keep up this TV media, which is slowly dying. Let's face it. Maybe that's why he was so offended, or he didn't understand it. Was because he's scared that YouTube is taking over TV, which kind of is.
Mm. Yeah, and especially that particular format of the late night talk show, which has been around since forever.
Basically what we're doing now.
Oh shit.
So you're saying that in 40 years people are going to look at us and go, oh, the podcast is so dated.
Do you think we're still only podcasting in 40 years?
Yeah, that's right. This isn't even in VR. What is this shit?
That joke is going to sound so dated in about 10 years. If you're listening to this in 2025, leave a comment.
You're not going to be listening to this in 2025. It's not in VR.
This will be this will be the audio book of podcasts.
Yeah.
Somebody might have found it in the archives of Apple Store online somewhere.
Yeah.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we need to patch to Batman and make it worse. But that didn't make sense, Keegz. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, they weren't meant to be the headings. That was just what I was
Yes, that's a comment.
No, patch man.
Because Keegz has given me the list of all the headlines. I just copied and pasted them straight in, and I've done like the most basic spell checking, and then I didn't actually read what they actually said. I think this is what it's supposed to be. The patching of Batman and then the removal and making it worse. Although I don't think they made it worse, did they?
I don't know. I hadn't read it yet.
Okay, so what I understood to happen, and this is going back a while now. This is almost 2 weeks ago. Some people on Steam were reporting that the upcoming PC patch for Arkham Knight, which was due about 2 weeks ago, was actually accidentally released and then got pulled within a couple of hours, but not before a bunch of people had downloaded it, and saying it had fixed 95% of their problems. So from there, I don't know if the patch has actually been released because I didn't do any, anything beforehand. I didn't read up on it beforehand.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
Well, I haven't played it and also didn't read up to see if the patch has actually been released. So I guess maybe those in the comments might know.
Yeah, does anybody
I don't think it's been
thank you,
released.
Johnny. Has anybody played
here
Batman on
actually
PC?
Yeah.
No, it's not
Anybody
really.
tried it?
I played Arkham.
Not my kettle of fish, I'm afraid.
Arkham Horror, the one where we were in the maybe it's Arkham Asylum. I can't remember. It was like 2 or 3 Batmans ago, I think, and I didn't like it. And I was like, well, fuck this shit. So I haven't played it since
Why
then.
your fish in a kettle?
What?
Why would you put your fish in a kettle?
Kettle o' fish.
It's not your kettle of fish. I've never got that saying. Sorry, continue on.
He makes a good point, though. I've never. Should I start keeping them in a kettle?
Yeah, that's one way to deep fry them, but it's not pleasant.
Is it just like a smaller group of fish? So it's not a school of fish,
Yeah.
it's just a kettle of fish, just like
Yeah.
5 or
Well, I
6.
How many
Oh,
fish
I
can you
can't
fit
imagine
in a
that.
kettle, do you think?
I can't imagine you'd fit a whole trout in there.
Well, have you never seen the really big kettles that they used to use on the big old fire stove?
That's not a kettle. That's a
Oh,
fucking.
that's
true.
That's a fucking cauldron.
That's a kettle.
Cauldron.
There's plenty of fish in there.
I think if the
I feel
kettle's
that we're going
bigger
off
than
topic.
if the kettle's bigger than
Anyway,
your head,
sorry.
it's a cauldron.
Cauldrons don't have big handles. Come on, man.
Oh. We're getting the nuance here. Anyway, back to Batman.
Yes, Batman.
Was he a kettle of fish, man?
Oh fuck knows.
Do bats eat fish?
What do bats eat?
They eat kettles.
Get the
Bugs.
bat experts on the podcast and ask them.
There's any zoologists in the comments.
Anyway, so and patch fixed everything apparently. That's the thing.
So did they actually release the patch? That's the bit that I'm not
Nope.
100% on.
They fixed everything and then refused to give it to everyone.
Yeah, it'll be a DLC for $2.99.
Because this was all yes, the PC patch DLC. No. So this was like I read about this back in just after our last podcast. So I don't know if anything's happened in the 2 weeks since then. Yeah, I don't know.
I am furiously googling.
Google. I can't Google because
That's
I've
better
got
than what you're
Australian.
normally
thing.
furiously doing.
I need to roll for that.
Let's keep our D&D out of this. That's the sound of
Says in the next
Keegz
2
Keegz
weeks.
googling.
So
Currently printing
this
my
is-
D&D little figurines. It's very exciting.
that was on. Yes. yeah, 3D printers.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so Ripple is actually we've got a D&D game that we've recently started replaying after a 4-month hiatus, and Ripple's 3D printing some little figurines to
Some
play
little gobblies.
some gobblies because it's not like we don't have enough of
Little
those.
gobblies. Yeah.
Delicious gobblies.
Gobblies.
Else. Batman.
They've got many gobblies. They've got ones with beards and shields. It's very exciting.
They're like
Oh, there's
flat,
one
aren't
Still
they?
not on.
They're like
Yeah, yeah.
representations
Still
of
not on
goblins.
Steam.
Yeah. Very
It's
cool.
still not on Steam, so I'm assuming that it hasn't released the patch yet.
I'm guessing since googling hasn't found it, it's probably not out. Let's assume that since you can't find it, it's not until we're told otherwise.
Oh wait, hang on.
Could just be
hang on,
Reese's very poor googling skills.
Hang on. Yep, no, wait.
How good is your Google
Wait
foo?
for it.
Apparently I need to be 18 to look at this.
Shit.
Give it to someone else then.
Okay, let's see. It is on Steam and it's still not up for purchase, so I assume that no, they
Oh
haven't
right, because they
patched it
haven't.
yet.
Yeah, they haven't. They pulled the full.
Oh, here we
version.
go. PC update on the 20th of the 8th. Wait, that was ages ago.
What? That was probably the
Last-
previous
last
patch that
month.
did fuck all.
Oh, September 3rd update patch notes.
That was
but
the
it's
one
still
that I
not
just
for
read
sale,
from.
so they obviously haven't
No, if it's not for
obviously
sale, then
haven't
I don't
fucking
think they haven't.
patched it.
They haven't
Yeah.
patched it. So
Told you they fixed all the problems and then refused to give it to anyone.
Still balked. Don't buy Batman. Or you can't buy Batman.
you can't buy
Don't
Batman if you
on
wanted
PC.
to.
Buy it on console. At least apparently it works there.
You know what? Something
Don't
you will be
assume
able to
you can buy
buy
Batman.
on Steam, however, Keegz?
Sexy sex games.
Sexy sex games, or as I like to call them,
This is
visual
right up
novels.
my alley.
This is not my. This is not your alley. This is my alley. I haven't seen you play
Wait,
any
you like
sex
sexy
games.
sex games?
You haven't streamed a single sex game.
Because I don't want to stream them because you don't. Yeah. Anyway.
It's not the kind of thing you stream, is it?
It's not the kind of thing that
Well, it's not something you stream with a camera on your face. No.
It's not something that I want. It's not something I want an open mic with either.
Could you
I was going to try and do the noise, but I'm laughing too much.
It says sexy sex games are for private playing. It's my private times.
private time? Plus, the problem with visual novels, sex.
Having said that, if you did do it with a microphone and a camera on, you'd probably get quite a large following.
And boot it off fucking YouTube.
Yeah, probably. Well, it depends. Depends whether you got your shirt on or not, or pants for that matter.
Pornhub it is.
I never wear pants.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Learning things about Keegz. I wish I didn't.
That's how I got to 100.
100 subscribers for having no pants.
Right, you can't wear pants. No.
Okay. So, Steam.
Anywho.
Steam has a lot of visual novels on there, but as I have found out, they are all ages versions. There's no R18 plus versions on there at all.
And it's not really a sex novel, is it?
It's because they had a very strict rule about no pornography basically on Steam, and it's been like that for a long time. This is the first one where they've kind of opened the floodgates, as you would, to the sexy sex games.
Have they? I mean, there's a lot of things we still don't know. Like, one of the things it says is this game called Kindred Spirits on the Roof, which is a Yuri game. And if you're not familiar with Japanese culture, Yuri is girl on girl action. So this is a game where you have to entice other girls to interact with each other. I think that's what it is, which is kind of weird as a concept, but we'll, let's run with it. And
now keys.
See, it could be comedy gold for you, Keegz. You could hit 200 subscribers next week.
I don't think I'd be allowed to stream it. I'd have to I wouldn't be able to stream it. I'd have to record it and then go back through and censor everything.
I wonder what YouTube's. That's probably not good. Although they allow Honey Pop. One of my friends streamed that, and he got a fuckload of views.
What do you people do on the internet?
Though.
I don't want to know what that is.
You don't want to look it up.
What's
It's not
sexy
good.
sex games?
One of the guys in Shack Tack did it on because he was drunk and thought it'd be hilarious, and he got more views and comments from that than fucking any other video he's ever done. Yeah, it was a.
What was that game we played? We tried to do a live stream, and
the one where you take the clothes off.
Where you gotta attack them or whatever it is.
I rewatched that the other day and it's still not good.
You did? Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
I got my money back from that.
Yes, because we played it for less than 2 hours.
Well, it was actually over 2 hours, but they still gave it back to me because I just told them how fucking broken it was.
They were just like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. They sort of looked at the reviews and went, yeah, okay. Oops.
Oh, and someone's knocked over their microphone.
I tapped my pop filter and things went spastic.
If I installed a pop filter on my microphone, I wouldn't be able to go.
I could probably still do that, yeah.
It's very muted.
Yeah.
It was super muted.
Good.
Every time I play Rocket League, every time I go to put a goal in, I go. I can't deprive the internet of that. Well, it probably is.
He's too busy concentrating on making the noise.
Well, actually, I do it without thinking.
Pop noise and miss the goal.
I don't realize I do it until after I hear it and go, shit, that was loud.
You just blind people's headsets off their head.
Oh, you probably have. Sorry.
What were we talking about? Sex games. Right.
Back to sex games. Kindred Spirits on the Roof is a game about two ghosts who are eternally bound to a school, and the only way they can rest in peace is if they get to bone each other. Really?
Is this just going to open Steam up to a bunch of crap now? It's just going to be flooded with porn games.
What do you mean? Open them up to a bunch of? They've already got a bunch of crap.
Yeah, but before at least they had a filter of no pornography, and now they're going to be like, hey, all these shitty flash games are all over the internet. Going to be like, hey, let's get greenlit.
The thing is, it's only like a short step to VR, then, isn't it?
There's already plenty
Keegz
of porn VR.
Keegz
games,
is
trust
way
me.
ahead of you on that
Keegz has already
front.
investigated.
Yeah.
I'm up to date with the
6 months
porn VR. Yeah.
He's been investigating it for 3 months.
It's mate. Somebody has to do it, and I'm willing to take the bullet.
Different swordfish.
There's a stream we never want to see. So
Be
So-
aimlessly looking around with an erection.
oh no! Oh my eyes! My eyes!
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry,
he's done it.
sorry, YouTube. I apologise.
I'm sorry too. I'm just gonna mute Keegz now.
Oh my.
So Steam has got a bunch of erotic games that have been sort of tweaked so they don't show any nudity. They either omit it altogether or they'll heavily censor it. They've also pulled sex games from Steam once they sort of found out about
It's
it.
like taking like the Chuck Norris movies and removing the violence.
Well, with the
What
visual
you get is a load of
novels,
crap that's not worth watching.
well, having done some research on visual novels, what generally happens is that the first half of the game there'll be no sex at all. Like it's basically you doing your daily life bullshit that that it's usually you going to school, meeting with girls.
Sounds very much like my weekends.
Yes, except less sexy. And then the second half is you chasing one particular girl after you've made your choice, and then you have sex right at the end. So most of it, there's no nudity. There's no.
No, it's nothing like my weekends.
Right at the end, you get a little
No
bit
sex
of
at the end.
No sex at the end.
Nope.
Just
So.
get a thumbs up on Tinder.
So actually,
Surprisingly accurate.
getting back to what we were talking about, so the bit that just sort of makes me a little bit wary of this is the game developer's called Liarsoft, as in Liar. Kindred Spirits will have zero censorship. Now, I don't know if that means that there will be no sex scene, there were never any sex scenes in this to begin with, hence no censorship, or whether it's a case of there will be no censorship on this particular game, or whether it's a case of Steam have relaxed their rules on whether or not you can have sexy time on the on Steam. So.
But
That's what I'm
then, does that mean that it's going to have to be censored by country, like how we have different ratings to America and stuff like that? Does that mean that
I
they're
guess
gonna
by
have to
rating,
sort of
that is
region lock it?
I can tell you where there'll be no censoring. Japan.
yes.
Japan have actually got quite a high censorship. That's why most of the stuff is anime.
Yeah.
And why is most
that's
of the crap
also-
that comes out of Japan?
Censored?
because it's porn that has been twisted into a way they can get past their own censorship, because they actually have, well, it's probably not so much anymore, but they used to have a really strict censorship on pornography, man, woman, homosexual, all that pornography. That's where the monster sex came into it, and all the tentacle porn and all that stuff, because that's
it's
how
not
they got
because
the way
of that.
around it.
Monster sex was
Right.
around long before those laws existed.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's the way they got around the censorship, is that they took out the.
Let's
the-
not get bogged down in whose one came before who.
Everybody each to their own. If you like tentacle porn, then I'm not gonna judge you. But
Or either he will judge you, but silently in the privacy of his own
add
room.
you to a couple of forums that I know, and we can talk about it.
So yes, so we'll wait and see whether this is going to be a rule going forward for Steam, or whether this is just a one-off. But the thing is that got me is that The Witcher 3, the latest one, that has sex scenes
So,
in it,
yeah,
and they're not censored.
pretty graphic sex scenes. Oh, it's the same. Well, I was gonna say it's the
They
same with
weren't
that
that graphic. I
shitty
think there was
roach.
sex on a unicorn.
Well, yeah, I mean you didn't see.
No, there was full on sex.
I can tell you there was no sex scenes in the first 10 minutes. Not very much.
Yeah, I couldn't play the game.
Anything after that, I can't tell you.
There was I mean, even like Ride to Hell, the fucking abortion that was, still had sex scenes in it, except everybody was still wearing clothes. But
That was terrible.
fairly,
It wasn't
they were
sexy.
fairly graphic for what it was. I mean,
They
it
were
was
just
quite
two people rubbing against each other.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's two people
but in a
bumping into each other. It's like
but
twerking.
like but that's still kind of uncensored, because it's not like, oh, I wonder what
They
they're
were
doing.
wearing
Like, you don't have to.
clothes.
Yeah, if
Doesn't
if
give
they're
it
wearing
away.
clothes, it's censored.
You don't have to. Yeah, I don't
The only
know.
way you can make it more censored is to blur the entire screen.
How do you have to be though to be graphic? I mean, if you had Leisure Suit Larry, the old 3 pixels that he used to have,
Well, I think if
Yeah,
that was
but,
censored too.
does that count?
That was censored.
Yeah, but the thing, the border is between suggestive and downright. You're watching it like face full of sex. That's sort of the difference.
Fair enough.
So
I think
like,
The
if
Witcher
it's a
3
suggestive sex scene, then like
Yeah.
if you're just sort of you can sort of, oh, we're going to go in this room together. She's being promiscuous or whatever, and then it disappears, and maybe you hear some noise or whatever. To the point of like something like Road to Hell, where she's just riding the shit out of you and chafing you. Like, yeah, that's
it's
how
never
I
fun.
see the difference.
Nobody likes chafing.
No, nobody likes chafe. I mean, that's why they should have taken their
How
clothes off. Would
competitive
have been
in
much nicer. Okay,
Moving on.
Just happen to have some of that next to your bed.
just fill the bed with talcum powder. It's like, no chafing tonight, ladies. Smooth sailing.
You just slide off the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Machinima FC,
Cocaine
FTC, and other issues. Keegz, I'll let you take the
Yes.
the thing for this one.
Next time you ask me to put the headlines, I
You gotta
will
read the fuckers
take that
first.
with a grain of salt. No, I've read it. I should take that with a grain of salt, where I should actually put like not just a random. So we're going to talk about the Machinima FCC and other issues like that. That was just meant to be like an opening statement, not the actual title. But anyway,
Well, you just opened with it.
yeah.
Perhaps you could
Shut up.
expand.
I thought it was pretty good.
So Machinima have currently been under fire by the FTC regulation because they basically contracted some of their. They have a name for their people. I can't remember what it is, but basically people who are under their flag or
Influencers.
contracted, influencers, contracted in Machinima, and it was like an Xbox One. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it was an Xbox One release game or something where they would cover the game, get paid for it, and all that stuff. But they didn't specify that the people, or they didn't know that the people that were doing these coverages of the game or whatever it was, had to state that this was a paid thing.
Can I just
Which-
interrupt you for a sec, Keegz? Didn't we cover
Yeah.
this last podcast?
I don't think we covered the Machinima one. The one that we covered was the other issues, which was the Xenoners one about their Dead Realms game.
Right.
So this is jumped on top of that, and that's why I read other issues, because that was kind of in the same bag.
Roger.
But
As you
yes, Machinima are under fire because that they basically paid some of their people to I don't know. Like I said, I just writ this down. Whether it's FCC or FTC, I don't fucking know. I just writ this down on the fly so we understand what I was talking about. But anyway, they're under fire because they haven't stated that this is a paid promotion, which now needs to be a thing everywhere on YouTube, and they're really cracking down on it since it's become such a mainstream media that people are putting up videos or paid promotions and not saying that they're paid promotions, which is against regulation. So yes, Machinima have been in quite a lot of trouble. I don't know whether they've got anything out of it, or whether they've been fined or anything like that. But it's still a bit of an ongoing investigation. I think they're playing the blame game at the moment
Yeah.
about who made the mistake and didn't add it into the contract.
I suspect this is going to
But
be
yeah.
this is not going to be the last we hear of this sort of thing happening, given the
No,
FTC
and which is
crackdown on
good,
these two.
because it needs to happen, because if people are playing these games and getting paid to play them without telling people, then that's kind of bullshit, because then you're being lied to. Basically, it's like, hey, this is a great game for $20,000.
Yeah, and like these videos in and of themselves aren't that big a deal. Like, it's like, yes, you got paid to say good things about a game, but it's a slippery slope between this happening every now and again and this happening as a rule. So you really kind of have to stomp on it early and hard to make sure this doesn't become the norm.
Yeah, and especially some of the money some of these YouTubers get paid for doing it. I don't know if anybody else here or in the chat watches USA Review Tech. He put up a video just recently about a statement somebody put out, and they didn't say any names or anything, but it was an indie dev, and they were trying to get their game out. So they approached some YouTubers and said, "Hey, here's a free key. Do you mind playing our game?" Which they all, every indie dev basically does to try and get their game out there.
Mm-hmm.
And this YouTuber, who was unnamed, replied back saying, "Here's the price. It'll be $20,000. You'll get 3 points of interest during the video. It's $25,000, and we'll do 3 videos and 5 points of interest." And this indie dev just went, "What? That's more than the entire budget of the game I've made."
Yeah.
So this is, that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, I don't know
You
who
can't
this
demand
was
that
or
sort of
whether
thing,
it was.
really.
No, exactly. I mean, he said that this wasn't a trick. This wasn't bullshit. This is just what he replied to, and I can't imagine that this whoever it was must only play AAA titles to be able to get that kind of money.
Mm.
And even then, you're not getting much for your money.
No, I mean, if it's something like Markiplier, then maybe you are, but I mean, someone like PewDiePie or Markiplier or Total Biscuit, unless you're doing one of the top 10 YouTubers on YouTube, I don't think you're getting your money's worth.
But even that doesn't matter. People like Markiplier and PewDiePie don't come over into sales because they have a very young audience, and most of those people don't or can't buy games.
Yeah, this is something that Total Biscuits has covered a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I think we may have even discussed it on a previous podcast, in that someone like PewDiePie doesn't make a lot of sales, or even Markiplier even don't tend to equal a lot of sales, even if their video is well received, simply because the market, their viewers generally aren't people with a lot of disposable cash. They tend to be younger, still in high school type of viewers, who are unable to pay, for games on a whim. So,
and I guess that's the kind of thing you've got to think about if you're going to spend money on trying to market your game to YouTube. Is a lot of the indie games will just give out free keys and just hope that they might play them, and that'll give you some exposure.
Well, that's standard.
A lot of these really
standard practice across the entire
everything.
Any game, doesn't matter whether you're indie dev or AAA title, you'll give out free keys to hundreds or even thousands of people, to try, or YouTubers to try and get them to play.
What did we get free keys for the other day?
What, we got free keys?
AAA games generally come with a marketing budget that'll offer you money to play them, but then you have to say, yes, this is a paid promotion, blah blah blah. What did we get free keys for? I don't know.
I don't know.
What did we get free keys for?
Did we get free keys? I didn't get any.
I had the developer of Dropsy watching me stream the other day.
Pretty
That
cool.
was weird.
Shout out
Yeah,
to
that's
him.
pretty cool.
It was a beta for some AAA game. Can't remember what it was.
Oh, for Rainbow Six Siege.
That's it.
That's not.
Yeah.
You didn't get free
Yeah,
keys. You could sign up to WePlay.
That's a beta though.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
They would give you out free keys to everyone, not
Yeah.
just us. It's not like
They
someone sent
gave
us free
out
keys.
about 10,000 of them.
Yeah, and plus,
That's what's stupid about these. That's what's stupid about these pre-order things. Is if you pre-order the game, they're guaranteed a beta key and blah blah blah. But then you wait long enough, and all these gaming sites start spitting out tens of thousands of free keys anyway. So you don't really have to put your money down yet.
Yeah.
You just got to know where to look.
I think we've just had a change of government leadership.
have we? Oh, that was the other thing we haven't really covered yet.
Turnbull got it.
Mm.
Yeah, we're working to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
exciting times ahead.
Exciting times. Anyway,
Yeah,
so that's
I disagree.
Mishima and whatever.
Where were you watching that? Sorry, I'm very excited about this.
You
Pug's
say
been
we're going to have more
watching it
fibre in our diet.
religiously.
That's what you're trying
Got
to
our
say.
political correspondent on Facebook.
Well, they
Yeah.
haven't changed parties. They've just changed leader.
That's what I said,
there's a-
leadership.
Yeah, but what
Well,
Rafa said, there isn't
not
gonna
the
be more
not the
fibre in our
party.
diet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
There's not
But-
going to be any what?
Fibre in our diet.
I asked if there's going to be more fibre in our diet.
Well, there's probably going to be fibre in your diet, Keegz, just not in ours.
Yeah,
but he
I
was
got a
getting
letter
that
the
anyway.
other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did it say?
Yeah, I got a letter the other day saying fibre will
Suck it.
soon be. Hang on, let's see somewhere. Something about the NBN is coming to your area or some shit like that.
All right. So it hasn't actually been connected up to your house or in your street or anything yet.
No. They're still building it. They reckon it'll be finished about March next year.
Moving on. Gary's Modern VR. New Gary's Mod in VR.
I wonder if it'll have porn.
Probably will.
Gary's Mod VR porn. I could be down with that.
Get down with Gary.
Well, maybe not Gary. But...
It took me a moment, but I got there at the end. So do we know anything about this game other than he's working on a new game?
Not really. I'm assuming that it's going to be on the new engine.
It's on the Unreal
that's
Engine.
already a thing. Oh, really?
Yep.
What?
You read-
How's he meant to use the assets from?
Hang on,
Half-Life then?
don't take that with a grain of salt. Well, it's not going to be Gary's Mod anymore. It's going to be an actual game, or it's going to be something other than Gary's Mod 2.
It's called Gary's Mod 2, though.
No, it's
he,
not.
He said specifically it's not going to be called Gary's Mod 2.
In fact,
Then
the thing
why does
that-
he call it Gary's
in
Mod
fact,
2?
He hasn't. You called it Gary's Mod
I
2.
read the wrong thing.
He said,
You really
in fact,
did,
I'm reading here in
I think
letters.
you read that he's...
Oh, right. It won't
Don't
be
you
called
dare
Gary's
call
Mod 2.
it
I just
Gary's
saw
Mod
Gary's
2.
Mod 2 and just assumed that.
Blah 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 blah.
gonna be
Gary's
Gary's
Mod 2.
Mod
I'm sorry, Gary Newman, but I chose to read what I wanted to read.
going to be called Frederick's Mod.
Fred's Mod 10.
Yeah.
Fred's Mod. Yeah.
Post alpha.
Post beta.
Post Alpha Beta Charlie Bravo.
Just call it Charlie.
Ollie.
Gary's Mod Charlie 2. Yeah.
So yes, there's going to be a
That's
new
a
game. It's not going to be Gary's Mod or anything Gary's Mod related. It's the current Gary's Mod is not going to have VR support at any point. They've pretty much come out and said no, we're not going to do VR. The next one probably will. The next game project he's working on will probably be support VR straight out of the box. So interesting.
Continue talking. I need to pee. I'll be right back.
Good news, everybody.
What is the news?
Finish my
People
goblet.
needs to...
Oh, can you?
Very exciting.
Oh, can you take a picture and post it up? I'll stick it on the screen. People will go.
Oh, I can do. Yeah, I'll figure that out.
It'll
I'll
be
send
hot.
it to you, and then we'll figure that out.
Hot off the presses. Stick the put it in
Alright,
Facebook
I know.
or something. Something where I can easily get to it.
We'll do.
And don't make it too
We'll have
big
to,
because I'm gonna
we'll
have to
have to
download it.
Put up the. Roger. We'll have to tell them who made them, because that's a nice thing.
Oh right, yeah.
Because I didn't actually design them.
Yeah, that sounds good. Now
Thingiverse,
Keegz
anyway.
is about to do a big rant on something that he finds important or rant worthy. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but you know Keegz, he'll rant until
Very
morning.
exciting ranter.
Yes.
Whilst he's ranting, the rest of us can duck to the toilet.
Yes.
Take a while.
we do it in shifts. What else is going? Oh,
Are we skipping the rest of this stuff?
yeah. So basically the stuff at the bottom. I mean, I'll touch on it. Ubisoft is making a theme park in Malaysia. I can't wait for things to crash.
Because that's the main one that I actually read.
All right. Well, give us your spiel about that.
Well, I don't really have a spiel, but
Tell us
apparently
about
they're
it.
going to make a 10,000 square meter indoor theme park in Kuala Lumpur called Ubisoft Land.
Uberland.
Basically, they're going to produce all of the creative content for it. It'll be run by someone else.
Oompa Loompas.
Yes, Oompa Loompas. I'll run it.
Well, my partner has
Malaysian
just
theme
texted me
developer
a
RSG.
picture of the 9 News breaking news thing saying Malcolm Turnbull has defeated Tony Abbott in a Liberal leadership ballot, 54 votes to 44. As you were.
Sometimes we're ahead of the time,
We are.
except for 2-week-old news.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically someone else is going to own and run the park, but Ubisoft is going to do all of the creative
right.
design for the entire.
Well, I
the entire
guess
park.
that makes sense given
So-
that Ubisoft are not a theme park company. They would outsource that to somebody
They're
who
not
actually
in
knows how
any
to.
way, shape, or form.
Well, yes, but you could have creative input onto
Like
the
they
rides
said,
and shit like
How many
that.
theme parks have you been to? How many
Imagine
theme
all the terrible patches it's going to have all over it.
Half the rides aren't going to work half the time.
Yeah, it crashes. That's what I'm waiting for.
That's right.
What
Huge
games
crashes.
have Ubisoft made?
Ugh. Pick any game that
They've
crashes.
made Far Cry.
Arse Creed.
They've made Far
What's
Cry.
the-
They've
was it
made
the
all of the
Scum?
Assassin's Creed.
All the really buggy
Scary
games,
one.
essentially.
I think they made a scary one.
Oh, they made
Yeah.
Watch Dogs.
Did they make Fear? I think
Oh
it was-
yeah,
Dogs was up-
yeah, they might
Watch
have made
Dogs was
few.
up there.
Actually, sure. Oh yeah, Watch Dogs. Yeah.
bunch of the Assassin's Creed games.
That's what the park's going to be. You're going to walk around just enjoying the park, and there's going to be a guy behind you with his phone out, just like looking up all your details.
Oh, they made Far Cry. That's not too bad.
So there'll be lions and eagles that like randomly swarm you while you're walking through the park.
Oh, god damn it.
Anywho, you can expect themed rides for all of these games in Ubisoft Land.
Splinter Cell. Oh, Splinter Cell was good. Ubisoft apparently.
Splinter
Ubisoft
Cell
likes
actually was
Splinter
good. I actually quite liked Splinter Cell, but like the older ones, not so much the newer ones.
Yeah, apparently they also made the Rainbow Six thing that we got a free beta key for the other day.
Where's Rainbow Six? I'm
The Rainbow Six Vegas was pretty good.
Vegas,
Well,
yes.
we'll
Yeah, it was
yet to
alright.
see what this new one's like.
I actually quite like playing that. I
They
actually
make a
like
lot of
playing
games that I can't remember.
Yeah, all the games
They've
we
been
like
around for a long time. They've made a lot of games.
They have.
Yeah.
A lot of buggy games.
Anywho,
I'm just looking.
Oh no, it's a
Sorry, I'm just looking at
John
my...
O'Wee is asking. It's actually a real life theme park. It's not an in-game one. It's a real life.
Yeah, it's
theme
not
park.
theme park, man. It's not theme park
yes,
Ubisoft.
what that means is that not only
That'd be
do you
cool.
have to get in, you also have to pay to get there,
And then get out.
and then get out, yeah, and then get
Yeah.
home again.
So what happens is you pay for parking, and you go up to the gate, and then you pay for the ticket. You walk in, and they're like, okay, so if you want to see this part, that'll be this DLC ticket. So you buy that one. You can go and play that.
You
that
get a
ride.
season pass, man.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Oh,
season
season
pass.
pass.
Until they bring out a new ride, and then you've got to pay
That's it.
an extra for that. But you do get beta access, so you can watch other people.
Maybe it's going to be like that the Wolf game where you got it like in part stories, so you get halfway through the roller coaster and they're like, no, that's it.
Yeah, it's the end
if
of
you
the
want
week.
to keep going,
Yeah.
if you want to get down to the ground, then that's another $12.
You'll have to wait a week until it comes out.
It'll be like a roller coaster goon where you just have an open-ended roller coaster.
They just haven't built the rest of the roller coaster yet.
Yeah, that's
Tell
right.
you what,
You just get roller coaster episodes.
Yeah, if we get enough money, we'll finish it a week early. How does that sound?
Yeah. Yes. Speaking of, is it Ubisoft? No, then Ubisoft aren't doing this. Yeah, was that a segue? Are we taking that as a segue? Are we
What
doing
are we
that?
You can if you like. I've got no idea where you're going with it. Run with it.
Well, when you were talking about if you pay enough, we'll get it early. Deus Ex,
Deus Ex.
All right.
Mankind Divided, Deus, however you want to fucking pronounce it, have come up with a ripper idea for pre-orders, right? They are going to turn it into a Kickstarter for a game that's made already, but if you pre-order and you get enough pre-orders, you get content, right?
Keegz, can I interrupt you again here? Sorry. I'm very sorry.
Right.
He's just sent me the photo of the thing that he made. So everyone on the stream can now see it. It's a little goblin with sticky out ears and a round head and little
He is.
hands.
Yeah, check him out. He's got little modular hands, so you can give him lots
So you
of
can
little
stick
like,
weapons
little,
in and it'll be cool.
Different weapons.
Yeah,
in it.
heaps of different stuff. How cool's that?
You looking?
Sorry about the shit.
I'm gonna have to go to the bloody stream myself now just to see it.
Just
I'm
to see
going
it.
down to the next room.
You walk next door. You've got
Yeah,
a headset and
I could
everything.
get up, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, so it's a little gobbly with little modular hands, so you can give him weapons and stuff. And who made that? I forgot
There's-
the
There was a
Black
somebody on
Minis
Thingiverse
by Grumpy
called
Robot.
Grumpy Robot.
on
And there's
Kudos to
literally
you, my
about
friend.
Thingiverse.
20, 30 of them. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're all pretty good.
So
Wasn't
check those out.
Oh, that's cute. Look at that.
He's cute.
Yeah,
isn't
look at those. How cool's that?
Little ears. Little
There's
Lego
one of a
man.
hobbit that I want him to make for me.
Oh, there's a gentleman. He's got like a little suit and a tie and a little monocle. And a little
Does he have a
It's
top
actually come
hat?
out really well.
he? You could be a
They
sir.
have a top hat.
He's
They
a
have a top
sir.
hat.
Yeah.
He's a sir.
He's a sir. There's a gargoyle. That's pretty cool.
There's a beholder and a
Pirate.
gelatinous cube.
Shark. Yeah,
There's
Oh,
dragons and all sorts
skeletons?
of things.
check those out.
Oh, get the treasure chest. Do the treasure chest one. Always have more treasure.
All the D&D porn you could ask for.
Anyway, back
Anyway.
to
Anywho,
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex.
Anyway, yes.
Deus-
So,
U6.
Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, the new one up and coming. They've where was
You've
that?
got mail.
Oh yes. So
Someone's phone.
yeah, somebody's trying to get my attention. Fuck off.
That was me, you prick.
So
That wasn't.
fuck
Fuck
off.
off.
So they've come up with this fucking amazing scheme called Augment Your Pre-Order, which means
It's a
that
master
if
word of
enough
marketing.
people, Yeah, that's right. Fucking top marketing right here. If enough people pre-order, you can unlock things. So there's like art pieces and digital content and stuff like that, which some of them you have to pick between, which is bullshit.
It's like
you shouldn't get
crowdsourced
both.
pre-ordering, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is exactly that. It's just a Kickstarter for a game that's already finished and they just want more money for it, so they're trying to force people to pre-order.
Yeah.
But the biggest fucking thing, which is absolutely ridiculous, is if they meet their final tier 5, they'll release the game 4 days early.
Why 4?
So the game's ready, obviously. And we're like, hey, if we get enough extra money on top of what we originally wanted from sales, we'll release it 4 days early. Hopefully it's fucking broken. I hope it's broken.
What you
But the
fail
other
to
thing-
realise is that developers run on small change, so they've got to get that money from the backers, convert it to small change, and pump it into little slots on the back of the developers to get it finished quicker. More
to
coins
keep
they've
them
got,
working.
the quicker it
They
runs.
got to pay the guy to keep turning the cogs on the back of these devs.
That's the one.
I thought they ran on coffee and Cheetos. I thought that was it.
And
Nope.
they
Right
aren't
on.
free, Ripple. Coffee and Cheetos does not grow on trees.
Because those coins,
Coffee,
they've-
yes,
they've
but
got to-
Cheetos
I'll
don't.
have you
they've
know.
got to go and put those coins into vending machines and then feed the coffee and the Cheetos to the developers. And then they churn
In
out
my
code.
office, I have free coffee. That's right.
Oh, you're a lucky man.
I know.
But what's even worse about that? Well, not worse, but what's stupid about this is they don't show you how many they need to get to reach each goal.
Mm.
So, as far as I'm concerned, whatever amount of people pre-order, they're probably just going to be like, oh fuck it, whatever. We'll just push it all the way top so we can say that we've won and we got our prize and everybody wanted to
That'll-
buy our game. When in the
that
end it was
also
like
means
8
that it's-
people.
It's not going to make any difference to the individual because they've got no idea whether their input is going to make any difference to whether they get it or not.
Yeah, that's right. You're
So
not putting
they'll
extra
either
money
just,
in.
they'll either just buy it or not, really.
Yeah, and then you might get a digital art DLC or the soundtrack.
That's just it. You might. You don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
which is
it's-
even worse. So you're gambling
So-
on nothing.
They're only going to release it 4 days early.
If you get to tier 5,
Yeah, it's like, why
that's,
4 days?
That's the
Why not a week or 2
So-
weeks?
I'm
or
having
a
trouble
month?
shedding one tier about it, to be honest.
I'm not shedding a tear over it. I think it's absolute fucking bull. And when they first released this, because they did like a trailer video on YouTube, it got more thumbs down than Jimmy Kimmel.
Holy shit.
Whoa.
That's serious
That's
business.
offensive.
People were not happy about this.
Jimmy Kimmel standard.
Yeah, he's the new standard of thumbs down.
On
now.
a scale of 1 to Jim or Kimmy.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Kimmy.
I love that guy. Jimmy Kimmel, though. What a prick.
Jimmy Kimmy. I like it. So there's
Yes,
essentially
this is
5
a travesty.
tiers. There's 5 tiers. The first tier, you get a choice of 3 starter packs, which cater to your health, aggressive play style, or nostalgic players, where they give you combat armor or a trench coat and revolvers, and basically you can choose between your shit you want. Second tier, you get 1 item pre-order, pick between 2 bonuses that further immerse players in the world, digital art book that shows the aesthetic of the game, or digital OST sample of 6 tracks, blah blah blah. Unlock tier 3, unlock Desperate Measures pre-order mission, which I'd be hard pressed to think that they wouldn't at least get to that stage, given that they've already made this. Although I wouldn't put it past them to turn that into a fucking DLC. Tier 4, get an in-depth look at the Deus Ex universe with digital comic, blah, blah, blah. So this is already made as well. So if they don't get to tier 4, they'll release that with some shit. So don't worry. Even if they don't get to that, you're gonna see it at some point.
So if
Yeah.
they've already made it, so there's no point not
Yeah.
putting it out because they've
Yeah,
put their
exactly.
into it.
So the
So
basically
what
saying-
that
want
means
the
is that it
money.
doesn't matter how many you buy, you're going to end up with it.
essentially, yeah. And tier
Is
5.
it ready or is it been ready?
Oh, it's at that stage. I mean, it's still what 4 months away or 5 months away
Is it
from
EA
release. Is it EA ready?
Yeah.
Is it Ubisoft ready?
Is it SimCity ready?
Is it
Is it
SimCity?
Batman ready?
Is it SimCity ready? Have we written on the back of a napkin the layout for the game? Yes, it's
That's some
SimCity
vague
ready.
ideas. Yeah.
We've got some vague ideas. That's ready for release, I'm sure. Yeah. So then the tier 5 is
Yes.
unlocking it 4 days early. I mean, why the fuck would you give a fuck about it being 4 days early?
I think one of the worst. I think one of the worst ones on this list is that tier 3 where you get the extra mission. I mean, that's just
Oh shit! Sorry,
that's
keep
such bullshit. To have to just as an unlockable, like if hoping just for lols that they don't even get to tier 2, which I think they already have anyway. But to the point where they're like, oh, so we've got this extra mission in this game that
No one can use.
we can't release. So then the game will come out, and like one day later they'll have a $3 DLC of this extra mission that they didn't reach in the
Yeah.
Kickstarter, or quote unquote Kickstarter.
It's. Even gamers who jump on this shit were sort of like, this smacks a bit of being ripped off, doesn't it? There weren't too many people who are falling for this crap.
Matt
Smack of being
Rogan
ripped
just
off.
reiterated what I said before, is that they're not releasing any numbers, so they could just say that they reached the tiers, and that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
It's probably just on a timer that it'll slowly tick over until the 4 days before, and say, oh, look, we're releasing 4 days before because 8 people pre-ordered.
You know what will happen is I'll get to tier 4.
Since the people don't know how many there are, they'll just say that 8,000 people pre-ordered.
Yeah.
Because I'll get to tier 4.
1 million pre-orders.
And then be like, oh, we're so close to getting to tier 5. Pre-order now, and they'll push a bunch of
pre-order
sales
now.
that
This
way.
is your last chance to pre-order to get all these exclusive bonuses
It's
that will most likely come in the season pass 2 days
Such
later for an extra
bullshit.
$4.
Such bullshit.
And I hope that the backlash of this is enough to scare anybody else from trying to pull this shit, because it's just such a bad marketing scheme.
Well, I
mean,
think the problem is, I think it's probably
geez.
going to work. That's the problem. Is that people are stupid.
I don't think so.
I mean, as much as people hate it, they'll buy it anyway.
Yeah,
Oh, what?
maybe.
I
I
mean,
don't know. I mean, and it's sad because Deus Ex has had such, like, it's got such a big backing. Everybody really loves the franchise. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I know it has a big,
I love it.
big backing behind it. This is kind of like a slap in the face
It
for all
really
those
is.
people that have been, so devoted to it.
I mean,
All of the fanboys.
they've turned Deus Ex
All
into a
the
marketing
fuckers.
machine as opposed to a good game, and it's probably going to be a good game. But this is not on. It's not
This
on.
is just the way that this is the way that games are sold these days.
Yeah, but even then, I think especially the people that are so behind this game, probably because of this, won't pre-order. They'll just wait for the game to come out, because these are the kind of people I'm sort of generalizing here, because of the big lore and everything behind Deus Ex. They probably don't care about this crap. So they're just like, I just want to play a good game. I don't really want to pre-order it. I'm not that excited. I just want to play it.
I'm
because
actually
I
not that
enjoy
excited about
Deus
it
Ex.
either. Now that I've sort of seen this marketing bullshit, so I'll probably wait until it's a couple of months after release and get it, when it goes on sale.
I didn't like the last one. I tried it.
Didn't you?
I mean, I probably should have started way back in the the golden era of Deus Ex.
Yeah, there's a lot
I
of
played the
a lot of
last release
nostalgia.
and I hated it. It was crap.
Yeah.
I put it in the same vein as I'm probably going to piss people off here, but I put it in the same vein as Fallout 3, whereas it's just a lot of running and talking.
Hey, don't you talk shit about Fallout 3.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Fallout 3. Berate me if you like chat, but I'm not excited for Fallout 4.
Rabble.
Yeah. So, mass exodus. Fuck you.
And Keegz was never heard from
All of a
again.
sudden you've got one subscriber.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, my 100 subscribers has
99.
turned to fucking 50.
No, you've got one left. Even your friends have left you.
One left.
Even my friends have left me. Yeah.
Yes, so I think we're
But anyway.
all in agreement. Deus Ex Mankind Divided augment your pre-order. Load of shit.
Bad idea.
Should
Don't pre-order it.
should not
Don't
happen.
fucking pre-order it.
Yeah, don't pre-order on.
Nice try. Not going to happen.
Well, I must have said something. I've got a lot of notifications on Google all of a sudden.
No, that's just
That's people leaving.
that's just all of the guys talking.
It's just us.
John Smith has left your channel.
There's a lot of crap about the election. The election.
Oh,
What do you
right,
call it?
yeah.
All your friends have fled.
The
All
ballot.
your friends have fled.
Should we transition into the next segment?
Yeah, sure.
What
I think we're
did-
done here. I think we've burnt fucking Deus Ex at the stake enough.
Good news, everyone. I've now got 2 goblins.
Two goblins!
Yay!
Pumping them out.
So, If you're listening to this after the fact and not listening to it live, you will probably know by now that we have a new Prime Minister in Australia. His name is Malcolm Turnbull.
How's the last hour?
News just in from our political correspondent. Apparently, Abbott has fallen
On
short
the
of the
field.
time needed to be served to receive a prime minister's pension
Oh, thank fuck for that.
Good. Fuck him.
by less than a week.
Oh, that sucks.
Nice work, Malcolm. Stinge
Do you
that
think
fucker
this
out.
was like preempted? This was just like
I
the
hope so.
black spot, like right at the beginning.
It's great.
I like that. I love that. I wonder if he did it because of that. That'd be perfect.
Yeah,
Well,
it'd be
we're going to use the
fantastic,
money
wouldn't
from his pension to pay for the NBN.
We will get 3 proper lines in. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. One for Netflix, one for internet, and one for your old phone, rotisserie.
Rotisserie.
Rotisserie style.
Not rotary dial, it's rotisserie.
Brrr. Yeah, rotisserie. It keeps spinning. You just keep spinning it around.
No,
You just gotta use.
the whole
You
phone
gotta try and
unit
stop on the
revolves.
right number. Yeah, you got. Yeah, it's
Or else
right, just
gets his
this
data
phone
through.
that spins on the desk, and you just gotta try and press the buttons as it comes past.
Try and get more coding.
Rotisserie.
Calling somebody has never been so difficult.
And then I'll just
Um,
fax that over to you on my coal-powered fax machine.
I shall attach it to my
Better
carrier
fire
pigeon.
up the furnace. I'm making a fax.
So, yes, this has only happened in the last probably 15 minutes or so. Malcolm Turnbull is now the 29th Prime Minister of Australia, I think is correct. Now he's
Nice.
been...
Not anymore.
No, he's the 29th
What?
Prime Minister.
I said not anymore.
Malcolm Turnbull is
Yeah, I
the
think he is.
29th Prime Minister.
Well, he's not a... Yeah, never mind.
You thought I said Tony Abbott, but you weren't paying attention.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
never mind.
yes, Malcolm Turnbull is now the 29th Prime Minister, or he will be the 29th Prime Minister of Australia. So where I don't really like the guy that much, but I think his ideas on the NBN have largely been pushed aside by Tony Abbott in favour of trying to get something cheaper done.
Are
in
you
Australia.
saying they were more in line with the actual members of the country?
Members of the country? You mean the
I'll be back.
The general public?
Yes. By and large, I think everybody wants fibre to the premises, not fibre to the node. And Malcolm Turnbull knows it's a much better plan. Basically, I think one of 3 things is going to happen from here on out. Either the MTM, the multi-technology mix, i.e. copper to the house and fibre to the node, will be delayed until the point where it no longer becomes relevant. I.e. they'll keep delaying
Fibre to the
it.
house, fibre to the node.
Yeah. So it's either going to be delayed to the point where it no longer becomes relevant and it's essentially just dropped, and they just don't say anything about it, and they'll just keep rolling out fibre to the home. I think that's probably the most likely. He may still push on due to pressure from the cabinet and people who pay for, to have prime ministers put into power. It's possible he may push on with the MTM fibre to the node mix, although that's looking. I'm hopeful. I mean, I give that probably a 30% chance of happening, maybe 40. Or there's going to be. What's the third one? It's probably going to be.
I give it about a 5% chance of happening, Lee.
What? The fibre to the node, or
Of it going in any vague direction that we would like it.
why? Just because liberals?
Just because it's the Liberals. It wasn't just Abbott that was
Well, no, but he's
excited about ruining our country. It was the entire Liberal Party.
Well,
Just
that's
because he's
true,
gone,
but
it's-
you don't speak out against your prime minister. That's a fast way to get your ass handed to you and getting a pension.
Or possibly it's a good way to end up running the country.
Well, yes, if you've got the numbers and the support, but Tony Abbott's been doing a lot of. He's been fucking up. I mean, he's been fucking up ever since he was put into office, but he's doing a lot of fucking
I
up
think you find
recently.
that him being put into office was a big fuck up.
Well, that too, but he's doing a lot of fucking up recently, and I think he's probably only recently got the support that he needed from the cabinet to actually get elected, and he was actually elected by quite a wide margin. It was like 10 votes, which is in terms of getting elected. That's quite a large number.
Tony's new slogan: "Stop the votes."
Stop the votes.
That's good. You should go on Image with that shit.
Yeah, stop the votes. Stop the votes. I'm
Bit
sure
late
somebody will
now.
do it for me.
So I have to wait many more years to drop this copper. Well, we're not really sure what we're debating about. I
Yeah,
think,
so-
yes, you will have to wait many more years.
I mean,
and
it's
Xenon seems to think that we have a chance of this whole schmozzle actually getting fixed.
Yeah, I mean it's been said. I mean he's never actually said it publicly because basically he can't. Well, he can now, but he couldn't previously. That fiber to the home was the better idea. It was what we should have had in the first place. I suspect he's probably going to start making small changes and making speeches in terms of not saying we should all have fibre to the home, but saying perhaps fibre to the home is something that can be looked at in the future, and then there'll be
It should be available to you.
a slow progression where he'll go from his previous position where it's too expensive to it's too expensive not to do it.
So basically, he's going to phase out the phasing out.
Yes. What will happen is that the MTN
Right.
will keep getting put on the back burner until the point where Australia is essentially full fibre. I'm hoping that's what will happen. That's the best case scenario. Whether or not it works out that way, we'll wait and see. I'm certainly a lot more optimistic than I was
The problem
yesterday.
is here that I think Labor's best bet was the fact that if Tony had stayed in, then they might have had a better chance in the next polls.
Correct.
If now that they've changed over leader, means that if he comes in with these new ideals, then people might sway back towards Liberal.
Although that didn't help the Labor last time.
No, that's exactly right.
That's true.
I suspect
they lost the next election by a landslide.
Yes, but
That's because Labor was in the same boat where they had a changeover.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. So that means that maybe the Liberals will have the same problem.
Maybe.
People will look at the Liberals and go, "Oh well, shit, don't keep their leadership together either."
Mm.
Maybe we'll go back to the Labor.
They have done
Yeah,
it quite a bit
maybe.
earlier than Labor did their
Country was better in those
spill,
days.
though.
Rabble.
I mean, in a
We're yet
year,
to see.
we may not remember all this shit. Whereas when the Labor did it, they were like 4 months out or 3 months out from an election. So,
Somebody needs to go and leave bags and bags of onions at Tony Abbott's doorstep.
I can't wait.
His new doorstep, because I get the feeling he's probably going to be moving.
Yes, you can no longer stay in the house, Tony. Fuck off.
Yep.
You're no longer welcome here. You do not get a pension. You do not pass go. You do not collect $200.
You better jump on one of those boats you keep knocking back.
Yes. So I think the TLDR is that I'm a lot more optimistic about the NBN actually getting fibre to the NBN than I was yesterday.
I admire your optimism.
Well, it's only good.
Fibre to the NBN.
Fibre
You
to
heard
the
it here,
NBN.
folks.
Yes.
Fibre to the NBN.
All to the NBNs. We need fibres.
Well, that kind of works, because we want more fibre in the NBN.
Yes, all the
We want less
fibres.
copper in the NBN.
Fibre to the nodes. Fibre to the nodes.
No.
Fibre to the premises.
Fibre to the premises. Bad kicks. Down kicks. Yeah, I mean, basically yesterday I had no chance of getting fibre at all, unless I paid for it myself. Today I give maybe a 30 to 40% chance of that actually happening within the next 2 years.
I actually heard of a quote for getting fibre under some premises the other day.
Mhm.
Have a guess how much?
15 grand.
200 grand.
It was about $500,000. Yep.
We're all
Good.
clubbed together. You
Yeah.
might just about be able to afford to get me
What?
fibre.
Let's start a Kickstarter.
Kickstarter.
The WePlay Kickstarter.
We play Kickstarter. Can we get Keegz fibre?
I'm getting fibre. You guys need fibre.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, the thing is, even if they ran it to the node and you had to pay to get it from the node in the end of your street to where you are, it's somewhere between $1,000 and $5,000, depending on how far, depending on various things. But essentially, that's how much it costs. I mean, the actual fibre cable itself is not expensive. It's the labour and the cutting holes through concrete and digging trenches and drilling holes through shit that is the expensive part.
Is there
It's
a
like
reason
any
why they're not
trade,
just
really.
Yeah.
stringing them up on telegraph poles? Like,
There was
thinking this the other
talk
day.
of that.
Why not?
But it's ugly
It just
because
seems silly to be.
the cables are too
would look
big and
gross.
thick. Yeah. I mean, you think, oh, fibre's really
What are we
thin.
talking about?
running fibres over the
Yeah.
power cables, the telegraph poles. The problem with that is that
That's
if you
how
want
they
to,
do it. Some houses.
Sounds like a great idea.
well, the problem is it's ugly.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
ugly.
I can
Okay.
deal with ugly if I get
Out-
fibre.
Ugly outside is not an issue.
Yeah, that's right. I don't go outside.
The
I
problem
can get
is-
all kinds
Yeah,
of
that's
beautiful on the NBN in my house.
Let's say it
Ugly
costs.
inside.
Let's say it costs you $2,000 to get it strung via the cables, and it costs you $3,000
I'd
to
sell my
dig a
car.
trench. Would you take the $3,000 one or the $2,000 one? Given that it's
$3,000
going to be there
$2,000
for the
one.
next 100 years,
Every time.
$2,000.
you're all fools.
I don't
Yeah.
care what it looks like outside as long as it doesn't fall off.
Yeah, I know, but other people might care.
The thing is,
I don't give a
all
fuck.
the
Fuck other
costs
people.
for it, all the costs for it are halved simply because you don't have to try and figure it out underground. Every
Yeah.
time you have to work on that piece of fibre, it's going to be
Well,
dig out a bit of fibre.
The thing
and
is,
fuck around with a bit of fibre.
But you just got to throw in the one pipe, and then everybody sort of splits the
Yeah,
the
you've got
the
to stop,
use.
traffic sometimes, dig up the ground and fuck around. Whereas if it's
They
strung
can
up,
fucking wait. They can watch YouTube like
They
really
can't,
slowly
they don't
while
have
they
internet.
wait.
They can't wait. They can't watch it because they don't have internet. It's broken.
They can watch it. They can watch it at 480p and go, man, I wish this fibre would hurry up. I'm happy to wait. By the time this video loads, I might have fibre.
I
Well,
felt like that the other day.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, a lot of places they don't have telephone cables. Like in the middle of the city, there's no telephone cables. That's where they have to do all the cutting. Out in the rural areas, like where we are, where there are telegraph poles and telephone poles. Yes, it might work for us, but well, actually, where I am, there aren't
Even
telegraph
still.
poles
Uh,
because it's all new area.
Mm.
Well, probably not where you are, but where we are in the in the paddock where
Yeah.
there are
Yep.
it's all brand new housing. All the housing's less than 10 years old. There are no
Yep.
telegraph poles.
mm,
It's all undergrounds.
Yeah, it's because they just put in the holes under the ground when they built it.
Well, that's just it. I mean, where
Which
I
is
am,
fine. And if you can push it down the hole from one end of the street to the other, then problem solved. You don't need to worry about running it
Exactly.
along the.
it's only like rural places that are old.
But it means digging up the entire street and ruining a lot of people's front gardens and taking a whole bunch of time about it. Why not just string it to the bloody poles? It's not that thick.
It is that thick, though. That's the problem.
It's
Because
not that
I mean,
thick.
are
Really
you
not.
talking about running the cable down the street, like the feed cable down the street from telegraph pole to telegraph pole, and then running it to the house, or are you talking about running it underground and then up to a telegraph pole and then down to your house?
the thing is, the reason most of it's so thick is because it has to go underground.
Not so
The
much.
reason
I
it
mean,
has
to be
it's the
insulated.
protective cable. Yeah, it's a protective insulation
Yeah.
cable.
Yep.
That's what makes it thick. If you've got to do
Yeah.
20 houses, that's a big old chunk. That's like a cable the diameter of your fist. It's not small.
Mm,
Oh, you're talking about running like 20 of them all along the route, all along the.
Well, if you're going to do each house, then yeah, the feed cable's going
Yeah.
to be 20 cables wide, and that's only one side of the street. You've got to do the other side of the street as well.
yeah, I'm still okay with it.
Yeah, I'm still cool with that.
Like if it came down to, you could either have
Hell, you
ABN
can run it along
run
the
by
street if you like. Dig it in the gutter.
well, that's exactly right. I mean, if it came down to, you can have NBN run via poles, or you can not have NBN. I'd be like, fuck it, stick it on the poles. I don't care that much about the looks. But if it comes down,
And if they came along and said it's cheaper to stick it under the ground, I'd go with that. It's cheaper to stick it in the air, then whatever.
yeah, a lot of people. I mean,
Whatever's
there's other
cheapest.
things to consider. The fact that it blows in the wind and moves, and moving optical cables is not good. So it's not just that to consider. And given that there's pipes in the ground, most cases
A lot of
anyway.
A lot of people have them run in the air.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying it's not going to work. I'm saying that you'll have a higher rate of problems and errors if the cable's moving around for the next 100 years.
And still get 50 times faster internet.
Well, yeah, but why not do it once properly?
Yeah, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
Why
Like,
not do it once and
Or
cheap?
the problem is we're not going to get done at all. Is the issue.
well, and
I've paged Nate Dogg for the comment section. To see if he can
Right.
answer some questions.
yeah, I mean, it's not a case of they'll only put it on poles, because it's cheaper to do it that way. It's not. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's that much cheaper to run it on the poles, and they are running it on poles in
Yeah,
some
I'm-
places, but
It's
yeah,
not even the cost.
Most
It's
of
more just the speed of
Tribunna,
it.
for instance, is run on poles.
is it? I haven't been down there, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty much any rural town is run on poles.
Okay, well, fair enough.
I run on poles.
Only someone would run on your pole.
They feel about that.
They like it to start with, but it usually gets a bit screamy by the end.
We're at
I
that-
think we've
We're at that
I
point
think
of the
we've covered
podcast.
the whole. I think we've covered the whole issue of the change of leadership.
Yes, I
Is there
think we
anything
have.
else we need to talk about?
Okay, so that's politics over. Politics over. Q&A. Has
We
anybody?
might come back with Nate Dogg's answer.
Yeah, if Nate Dogg has anything.
I don't
interesting
think
to
Nate
add.
Dogg's awake. Although Pugs has attempted to answer saying that very little signal loss with bends is my understanding, especially slight bends like the ones seen on a power pole.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
But
think you
yeah,
can bend them up.
we're
to
waiting for Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it
it's
depends
light. I
what
mean,
kind of
light
fibre as well.
bends. That's the idea of fiber cables, is that light bends around the bends. So,
Yeah.
There's a lot of different types of fibre as well. There's multi-mode
But-
and single mode and all
Yeah,
kinds of
and,
things.
yeah. Well, that's right, and it depends like how far you're running these cables too. I mean, if it's running a couple of kilometers, then every bend's going to slow it down. I mean, yes, it's running the speed of light, but it all
it's
adds up.
slowing down the light.
Had that problem before.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Einstein. He was the he was the man for
Yeah.
slowing down light.
If you need
E equals MC square, motherfuckers! Peace out, mic drop.
Luckily we had the pop filter on.
I was actually under the filter then, so you might have heard
Really?
that properly.
I had a crack more than pop, but okay. Funards
Oh, yeah, it
asks,
was
I read an article in Game Planet that a popular, in comments, YouTuber demanded 22 grand for coverage of a new game called Soul Axiom. Do you think this is a fair trade for services or rip-off? It's a rip-off. I mean, it's wrong on its face.
Well, we just
depends.
talked about this. We just talked about this before.
If he
Yeah,
can get
it's-
22 grand for covering a game and they're willing to, more luck to him.
Yeah, but I mean,
well,
it's-
the problem is that
Yeah.
he's offering, or he's basically offering the same, I guess, marketing plug to an indie dev that he should be to a AAA title, and that's where he went wrong. Because an indie dev isn't going to be able to fork over 22 grand. No way.
But do you think, as a
So
rule,
he just doesn't
you
do it. So what?
Well, but do you think, as a rule, this is a good practice? I mean, nobody should be asking for money to get a favourable review. This is not good. It's bad.
Well, if they're asking for a good review, then yes. And what's even more poignant is that if they are going to take 22 grand for, like, he's only saying coverage. If they're going to take 22 grand for a good review, then they have to state that they have been paid for this review, which whenever I watch something that says it's a paid promotion and they don't diss the game, I usually take that with a grain of salt.
I usually don't watch it.
I'll watch it. I don't just
I don't wanna
because
see,
I mean
I don't want to see a video that someone's been paid to plug someone's game. It's not
Well,
gonna be any
I
good.
don't mind watching a paid review because but as soon as I see that's a paid review, I sort of then discontinue any thought about what they think about it, and then just sort of
Focus
go
on-
off what I've seen and
Yeah.
then like watch some more. Yeah, just focus on the gameplay that they're doing and like disregard whatever they're fucking saying. But like I don't think it's a bad thing because this is going to happen whether we like it or not. People are going to get paid to spread the word, and that's how games get spread. And that's how some good games who people might not think were good found. So, like, the fact that he's asking, or the fact that he's demanding $22,000 is like ridiculous.
He's not demanding anything. He said that I will plug your game. You give me 22 grand. They would then go, we can't afford that, and he would go, okay.
Well, no, but as a rule.
Well, yeah,
if
but
you
he's
ask a
demanding to say what he's talking about here is what I was saying before because I heard this on the USA Tech Review guy as well because he talked about this, and he said that this whatever YouTuber got forwarded from an indie review saying an indie dev saying, hey, here's a free key, can you please review our game? And he's come back and said, look, it's going to cost you $22,000. We'll do 3 points of interest and one video, which is like
So?
for an indie person. I mean, it's fair enough. Then fucking go somewhere else. But
Yeah.
as that YouTuber, like, who do you think you are to say back to an indie dev like it's going to cost you 20 grand? You'd at least be like, look, this is not just demanding it, saying this is what's going to happen. You just say, look, here's my rates. If you're interested, then keep going.
Which is pretty much what he did.
Well, no, because
He said
the
it's
way
22 grand if you want me to plug your game.
Yeah, no, but that's
Which I
not
think is
like
the same thing that he said to the
that-
AAA developer.
no, that's not how he responded. The response was rude.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's
he's
what-
probably-
that's what-
he's probably a dick
that's
to
what
a lot of
caused-
people on YouTube are.
Yeah, but that's what caused the introversy. Well, is that
Controversy.
yeah, whatever. Is that he was just being a cunt about it. Like,
Oh,
look,
yeah.
I wouldn't even take a shit for 30 grand. Like,
Yeah.
it just, yeah. Which, like, if like, why would you even respond? Like, if an indie dev sent you a free key, it's like, hey, can you please review a game? You're like, well, I'd probably. The fact that he responded says that he probably doesn't get many emails. Then, otherwise he'd be like, look, I can't even respond to this. I've got too much going on. Like Total Biscuit, when he talks about the amount of keys he gets, he's like, it's ridiculous. There's no time in the day to possibly respond to all of his keys.
I actually listened to a podcast of him the other day. He said he's got 1,300 keys in Steam, all like, and he'll never play any of them. This is on top of the games that he's already reviewed, plus games that he actually plays himself. He's got 1,300 keys sitting there doing fuck all, just shit that he'll never ever review.
Yeah, just because if you become that size, like, you don't have time to go through that many keys.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand that at that point payment might become a bit of a thing, like, because you're obviously you need to make money out of what you do. So yes, maybe payment, but $22,000 to review a fucking game is ludicrous.
An indie game as well.
Why
I mean,
they didn't pay it.
AAA title maybe, indie game no. I mean, pick like
many,
Just even
look at your market.
demanding 22,000.
Look at.
But
mean,
actually,
he didn't have a gun to the guy's head.
in saying that though, maybe that was just his reply to basically say fuck off in a funny manner. It's like, it'll cost you 20 grand, just to the point where, all right, he's not going to reply anymore, so I can just ignore that now.
yeah.
I think
Just
yeah.
something that you do, isn't it, Reese?
Yeah, that's right. I don't get up for 30 grand. But yeah, I can understand that. Yes, that, like, it was a bit of a kick in the face, and I respect the dev for not saying his name, because you know, he may have taken it the wrong way.
Was it the dev that was whining about the fact he was trying to charge 22 grand? 'Cause it
He-
sounds like
he
he's
wasn't.
just a bit
He wasn't
pissy about it.
whining. He wasn't whining. Like, but the statement he gave, it was in a forum, and it was basically questions like, is this really how this works? Should these people be allowed to demand this much money for an indie developer?
Who's
Just
allowed?
ask.
Allowed who? Who's the governing body of these people? There isn't one. They demand whatever.
Yeah,
they can
yeah,
get.
but that.
Talk about morality.
Yeah, but that's
They
the
can
point. It's morale. Yeah, it's morale. It's a morality. Like Xenon just said, like, that should these people be allowed to say, well, you're an indie dev, fuck you, unless you got 22 grand, I don't even want to look at you. Like,
Are you saying
it's
that
just,
the internet should decide how much these people get paid?
No, I just think the internet should
think
be
general
a bit
consensus should
nicer
decide.
about it.
Well, clearly,
yeah, just
no,
like
the internet will probably lose some subs over this.
yeah, but that's why
that's-
he didn't say his name. So in the end, this indie dev has been the better man because he hasn't
Kinda
released
has.
his name. Yeah, because he's like, look, I don't want to shame this guy for doing it, but is this how it is? Like, should they be allowed to demand this much money for a small time developer to try and get the game out there? Like, couldn't he just have said, look, you're probably not in the range that I've met, or like, just this is how much it would cost. You're probably out of your league, or just something like that, rather than saying, look, it'll cost you 22 grand for this, blah blah blah. And I think I did see the forum post, and I think the dev just said, look, has anybody actually gotten any benefit out of paying this much? Like, did it actually help your game, paying $22,000 for this bloke to give you 3 points of interest and blah blah blah?
It sounds very much like a business quote. Like he's just said to him, "It's 22 grand, take it or leave it."
It probably is, but
That's
when
how
you think
businesses
about
work.
like it, yeah, but that's a lot of money for just a couple of videos.
Yeah, but how many subscribers does he have?
well,
that's
we
you don't know.
Like, we don't know
That's
who
the
it
point.
is.
Nobody
but
knows.
Let's say it's 1 million
I mean,
subscribers. How much does it cost to advertise to 1 million people?
Well, like we said before with, you know, PewDiePie and that, where yeah, they play these obscure games or whatever, but they don't actually get any sales out of it. So if you paid PewDiePie $22,000, not saying that he was the one, but as a retrospect, if you paid PewDiePie $22,000 to play your game, and you got fuck all sales out of it, but 300,000 people know about your game now, like, is that really a benefit for $22,000?
Didn't this happen to an indie
Well, it depends how
dev?
good your game is.
Yeah.
Earlier
Well,
this
and
week?
that's the other thing too. It's like, how much do you believe in your game to be spending this amount of
Definitely.
money?
Did this not
Which
happen to
is
an
actually-
indie dev?
It's the same in any business.
Well, I suppose so. But wasn't there a news story about this happening to an indie dev? Where
Yeah,
I can't remember who it
I was
was,
about
but
to say.
But his grand total, I mean, they made an interesting game. It won a bunch of awards at I can't remember, some gaming convention,
I mean,
and
anything.
and then his total sales for his game, like in total, not just in Steam or just because of this video. His total sales for his game was 150. It's one of those things where
Yeah,
he made
I read that interview.
150 what?
150 sales. for his
150
game.
sales. That's it.
Oh.
And he
Total Biscuit covered it.
Jacksepticeye played his game.
Oh, Jackson, yeah.
So Jacksepticeye.
Yeah.
And Total Biscuit covered it afterwards. But Jacksepticeye, when it first came out, because he got a key and he played it and he made a video about it, but he still only got 150 sales out of it.
And
he didn't have to pay Jack.
the review was largely, I think it was largely positive. I didn't watch it, but from what I've been
Jack
told,
liked it.
yeah, Jack seemed to like it. He was largely positive about it. But like he said, having Jacksepticeye's market, Jacksepticeye's viewer base is mostly younger people who do not have a lot of disposable income, and even though it's an indie game and probably costs fuck all, I think it was like $10 or $9.99 or something. Yeah, he just had no sales. It just didn't work.
It wasn't
for
even
him.
that. Yeah, it was just like a really simple platformer game that revolved around gravity. It looked fine. He was an Australian too. I was actually going to try and reach out to him to see if he wanted to come on the podcast. But after I saw that story, I'm like, hey, maybe you want to talk about it. Then it just blew up in the media. I'm like, okay, he's probably way too busy
Probably not going to want to talk
want
about
to
it
come
so
on
much.
a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he said the same thing. He's like, look, because he said that they put quite a lot of money, well, not a lot of money, but they spent a fair chunk of money on a marketing business to put the game out. It was quite a lucrative marketing business. They did well. He said that he doesn't fault the marketing company. They got it out there. It was everybody's seen. It made the front page of Steam. Jacksepticeye played it. All these other people tried it and gave out keys to everybody, and it still just flopped.
Mm.
The game was fine. It was just it was a good game. It worked. It looked fine. It had interesting controls and gameplay. It just wasn't reaching the market.
So the game we're talking about is called Airscape, and it's by a company called Cross Product. It's an indie developer. I think it's only one guy, and yeah. So I mean, Total Biscuit got a review copy, and I think he played a bit of it, and he said, yeah, it's a fun game. It's not even a AA title. It's a game that sort of you play for a little while, and then that was fun.
Casual game.
It's very much a casual game. Like it's not a hook you in.
Triple
It's
B
amazing.
title.
A triple B
Triple
title.
B.
It's off its training, bruh.
It was more than
3A
one
title.
guy. He was, I think, because he was the lead designer, but then he had some students that helped him with it.
That's right. It was a
So
bunch of
I think
students
it
who
was
made the
about
game.
5
I remember
people.
him saying now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they gave it a bunch
But
of
yeah, it was
bunch of keys to a bunch
fine.
of people, and it was mainly picked up by Jacksepticeye. But then I think because it didn't do very well, and Total Biscuit covered it, it then got a lot more coverage. I don't know if that translated to sales though. I don't think it did.
I don't think so, because even the Total Biscuit's coverage of it was more about it was a analysis of a game that has failed, basically. He basically rewrit and added on to what the forum post that the dev had put up, saying there's nothing wrong with this game. It's a fine game. It does what it made out to do, but it just didn't find a market and just didn't sell. And that's just how gaming is. There's millions and millions of games out every day that nobody even knows about or even sees, and some of them are probably really, really good, but unless you just manage to work your way into that niche of people looking for that specific game and that market type, then you're just gonna destined to fail, really.
Yeah, I mean this
Hard
game
market.
could just as easily have become a much more. I don't think it was never going to be a Minecraft. I don't think, but it could just as easily have become a marginally successful game that made the guys.
They could have made money off it.
Yeah.
They could have made money off it. It could have just met the standard of a game that is they've spent time, got their money back, and made a little bit of money on top of it, enough that they could continue developing something else and move on. But it just didn't.
I don't think
hit it off.
And the thing is, there's no one thing that you can sort of say this is the reason why it failed. I think there was a combination of things, and none of them were particularly bad. I think it's just bad timing, given the platform.
Bad luck.
Yeah, I think it's bad luck. I mean, it was it might have been bad timing. Platformers aren't particularly sort of lighting the world on fire right now, not like they were 5 years ago when Super Meat Boy came out, for example. So perhaps, yeah, I think it's a group of reasons for it failing, not any one thing in particular, and all of them have come together to be greater than the sum of its parts, and it's failed as a game. It's just not caught the world's attention.
Yeah. Yeah, what can you do?
What can you do? One thing I wanted to cover just very quickly before we wrap up, patch 105 for Rocket League, which is a game I played the crap out of, has been released.
Oh, really? Oh, you want to talk about Rocket League?
I'm
Big
going to talk
fucking
about Rocket
surprise.
League.
It has been released.
I was waiting for this to come up.
Yeah, Keegz didn't put it in the thing because he doesn't like Rocket League. So, well, not that he doesn't like
Because
it.
it's out.
It's like I talk about. Well, okay.
What?
The patch is out. It's out now.
It's out. I'm not saying it's. I'm not saying it's going to come out. I'm saying it's out now.
I thought
So,
you were saying that Rocket League was out. It's out.
What's the,
Get out of here.
it's out.
what's the patch for?
Turns out it's
What does
gay.
the patch do?
What did the patch do?
You can finally do search for new ranked games at the end game screen. Previously, you had to go right back out to the menu, do a search, and then like research for your ranked games. You didn't have to do that in non-ranked games. PC players can filter out PS4 players, whereas previously we couldn't. Usernames displayed as
handy.
all stars are now
That's
fixed.
pretty
It was
good,
the console fags.
Yes. Broken text chat was fixed on the PS4 problem. Season 1's finally started with 105 of the ranked games, so everybody got reset back to 0 and was start leveling up again. There's a music player at the start in the menu, which you can access by pressing N, which basically just skips through the tracks. Save game corruption protection, which apparently was an issue, but I've never had an issue with it. They made some changes to the new map Utopia. They've put in a bunch of arches where previously it was just open air to sort of make it look a little bit more enclosed, so you could tell where the walls were. And that's about it. Oh, there's a couple of new flags which I unlocked in my first 2 games. And that's about it. I
Good
think.
job.
There's probably some just like back end fixes and stuff, but they were the main points.
Very nice.
Very good.
I'm still surprised at how much I fucking like. One game I absolutely suck. I got owned by an expert guy today, like absolutely fucking owned, like 5-0 I think. And like the guys on my team weren't that. They were pretty good players, but we just got fucking wrecked. Next game I played, we were playing against 3 veterans, and we fucking owned them, thrashed them. So it's still an up and down game. Like
So
sometimes,
it is cross-platform, yes.
yes, it
Bernard.
is.
You can play against PlayStation players.
PS4 guy.
But
But
you no
however
longer have
now you can filter them out. Yes.
Yes.
Just I don't know whether. I don't know. Are they better? I mean, I use a controller anyway when I'm playing on PC.
As a general rule, I find the PS4 players probably not as good. You get the odd player who's pretty good, like that expert guy. He was a PS4 player. As a rule, I see the PS4 players. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna wreck them, and 80% of the time you do. Like they just don't seem to be as good as the PC players. I think that was also
I know that one of
showcased
the best players
during the ESL game was they were out of the 4 or 8 people playing, one of them was a PlayStation player. So
Yeah, and he was the second best player though.
well, that's okay. Yeah, that's true. I mean, some people just it clicks for them, and that's that's how they play. But
I think it just might be more about quantity though. There's probably more people playing it on PC than. Well,
I
actually,
don't know
maybe
that's the
not,
case.
because the PS had it for free. So
Yeah, they had it
there's
for
probably
free,
quite a lot of
so-
PS players.
I think what happened was
missed
there's a
out
lot
on.
more casual players as opposed to PC who play it a lot more. So I think there's the
PC
greater
generally
a lot more noise.
commit to their games.
yes PC Master Race. So yeah, it's been fun. Any other questions before we wrap it up? Anybody else got anything they
I'm
want to
just reading
say
through
in the
them
peanut
now.
gallery?
What have we got?
Bad news, everyone.
Says,
Bad
I
news.
broke my little goblin sword.
You what?
It's very sad.
oh, you broken it already.
I know. I busted his sword. I've got to print a new one.
How did you break it? Did it
that'll
break
take
while it was
forever.
printing?
Like the actual little roundy bit that the modular bit that you stick in his hand actually broke off on both of them.
Oh,
They're a bit delicate.
you're too rough.
I
You're too
know.
rough. Gotta wait for it to cool down.
I know. I did. Oh well.
I'm just
What can you
reading
do?
back through the comments. What have we got? Any guesses who the YouTuber was? No.
I think it was not
How
a no-name
many-
YouTuber, but there's a lot of YouTubers out there with.
Oh, it'd have to be a decent one. how much would it cost for them to advertise an audience of millions? I reckon that 22,000 must have been a million viewer YouTuber, because I remember listening to one of the podcasts from Total Biscuit, and he was talking quite openly about the requests he gets and his paid promotions, and he's not small and he has a lot of pull when it comes to games. And I think he was saying that, you know, on general it's about 5,000 for a paid promotion. I think that was like the Guns of Icarus thing. So that's, you know, that's pretty decent. $5,000 to get a YouTuber who actually has, you know, people that watch who would buy these sort of games.
Yeah.
Because his audience is obviously quite a bit older. So 5,000 fair bit. So for 22,000, you want to be reaching like, I'm not going to say that it's PewDiePie, but it'd be somewhere near there. Like, it'd have to be a lot of fucking.
There aren't that
viewers.
many people near PewDiePie. In fact, there's
No, because
there are,
Markiplier, I think, is actually, what it might be, although I don't know whether this would carry over to his audience, is somebody like Sky Plays Minecraft or something, where like just the Minecraft players who had fucking stupid amounts of views and followers, but they're all like 7.
Yeah.
Which isn't going to enter a game sale, and I can understand him saying that it needs to be, if it was somebody like that who like solely plays Minecraft or something, $22,000. Then, you know, if you only play Minecraft, they want you to play a different game, then you're going to have to pay him a fair bit to play a different game, or it's probably Yogscast, because they are cunts when it comes to money.
Wow.
They
Tell us
are.
what you really think.
Look up Yogscast and look up some of their history. Like, they are fucking cunts when it comes to paid promotions and money.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually listened to one of their
that-
podcasts ages
That's
ago.
my bet, is that it's probably Yogscast who has demanded this amount of money, because they are pretty. Yeah, they are a company in the communist. Well, no, that doesn't work. What's the other one? Capitalism. That's it. They are the capitalists
Call
of
them
YouTube.
communists.
I've had a few fucking rums since we started. They are the Yogscasts are the capitalists of YouTube.
Who else can we offend?
Oh dear.
Yeah, see,
It's quite hard to offend capitalists.
Well,
Well, yeah,
true.
especially
They're too
when
busy
they're
rolling their
demanding
money.
and probably getting $20,000 for a fucking probably sips. Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Well, I think that's a good place as any to end it. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another podcast, news permitting,
And more Angry Reese.
and more
And probably a
Angry
new
Keegz.
Prime Minister.
Always angry Keegz.
Angry Keegz. Yeah, we'll have an update on the
I need-
political situation in Australia. It'll be very exciting.
I need to start doing rant videos, because I have lots of rants, like
You should rant to
between the
camera.
2 weeks that we. Yeah, maybe not camera. That'd be a bit weird.
Reaction video.
Just right at your face,
Rant video. Yeah.
super close up, and just you looking at the camera and ranting the fuck out of it. I think you get a lot of
Just
views.
like Just
Let's
like
not do
eyebrows.
hands.
Just get his eyebrows in there and see how angry the eyebrows are. That's it. No, nothing else.
It'll just
the
be
eyebrows.
like, what's the guy that does the electrocution videos and that, like all about the electronics, where just his eyebrows at the end? What's his name? I'll just do that, just right up my eyebrows.
I don't
and
think we
just-
watched the
you
same
can-
videos recently.
Okay, he does like electronic safety videos in a comedic way, where he keeps electrocuting himself,
Yeah, right.
trying to. But yeah, right at the end, he just has like his eyebrows. He does like a snake with his eyebrows. So I could just do that. So you can just stare at my eyebrows while I'm talking. As I'm getting angrier, my eyebrow just lifts higher and higher and higher.
Fair enough.
Expected, people.
Alrighty, we shall see you all in a couple of weeks. Check us out on. I should have looked up the links before I start. What a spanner I am. In fact, I have them right in front of me.
Text.
You can check us out on Twitter. You can check out me and Keegz anyway. At Xenon_ST or at Keegz Kegel. Check out my YouTube, youtube.com/Xenon3D. Check out Keegz's YouTube, which is youtube.com/Keegz Kegel. Is that right? Or Kegel Gaming.
No, that's my. Damn it! No, it's Keegz Kegel and
Keegz
on
Kegel.
Twitter,
I thought it
think.
was. Also,
Keegz Gaming is Facebook.
all these links will be in the doobly doo. So you also got
Keegz Kegel.
my blog, xenonblog.com. You can check us out on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/WePlay Podcast, and our brand new Reddit, reddit.com/r/WePlay. So we shall see.
Yay!
Woo.
Plugs.
Yes, all the plugs. I managed to get all the plugs out. And now we have no water. So what is that? It's a plug joke.
Plug them back in.
Plug them back in. Okay, alright, I'm done. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.